Hello, dear students. Today I am going to talk to you about Romeo and Juliet, the play written by William Shakespeare. Unfortunately, we don't have the entire play for your syllabus. What we have is two parts of the soliloquies of Romeo and Juliet. It's important to know the story before we actually read the verses given for the syllabus. Many people talk about Romeo and Juliet. It does not mean that all of them know the story of Romeo and Juliet. If two people or two young men and women or a boy or girl are seen on the street, they were called Romeo and Juliet. But they would not know how tragic their life and their story was. It ends in tragedy. Romeo and Juliet, two teenagers who belong to rival families called Capulet and Montague. Romeo belonged to Montague's family. Juliet belongs to Capulet family. These two families are rivals. Capulet family once organized a dance party or a party in which Romeo is one of the attendees. He attends this party in disguise. ವೇಷ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ in disguise because he cannot really enter the party because he belonged to rival family. There he fell in love with Juliet. After seeing her, he felt true love for her. Even Juliet falls in love with Romeo. And their love became very intense. Though they belong to rival families, even after coming to know that they belong to rival families, they could not stop loving each other. This grew between these two. Meanwhile, Juliet's father came to know all these things. He arranged Juliet's marriage with the County of Paris. But Juliet was in no way ready to marry this man. With the help of her nurse, Juliet manages to arrange marriage with Romeo. The woman arranges the marriage between these two the next day. What happens is a twist actually. In a street fight, Romeo fought with Tybalt, who was Juliet's cousin, and he hurt him. He killed him. This unwanted incident took place. It is unwanted because these two were about to marry. But they really could not meet each other at that point of time. Because of this reason, Romeo was banished. In a desperate attempt to be reunited with Romeo, Juliet follows the Friar's plot and fakes her own death. In the sense, let me make it more. Let me make it clearer to you. Juliet's nurse plans in a way that she could give her a portion of poison, which is not so, but that would make her unconscious, and she could make people believe that she is dead, so that she could be taken out of the house. There, she can send a message to Romeo that he could come over there and meet her. What happens? Juliet takes this potion and falls unconscious or becomes dead. Not really, but made to feel that she is dead. Then what happens in between? This message or this play or this plan made by the nurse is not communicated to Romeo at all. He only heard the news that Juliet is dead, is no more. So he goes to the tomb where he saw Juliet lying on the floor, dead. He believed that she is dead because he did not really know the plot hatched by the nurse. So he dies. He kills himself and dies. Juliet wakes to find Romeo's dead body. After Romeo is dead, Juliet came to her consciousness and she came to know that Romeo stabbed himself and died. She saw the dead body beside her, and looking at this, she could not live even for a moment. And she too kills herself. At the end, what happens? These two grieving families agree to be friendly thereafter. Forget their rivalry, all that. But what happens for these two young people? They fell in love, loved intensely, loved passionately, and died for their love. But they could not be united. What they really did was they united the two rival families. This is the story, which is not there in your syllabus actually. But two parts of the verses are given to you. How Romeo expresses his implicit feelings towards Juliet, and how Juliet expresses her inner feelings, implicit feelings, passionate, how passionate she is, and how seriously in love with Romeo. And these two are expressed through two poems here. I must really tell you, you already know it. William Shakespeare is an English playwright and poet, widely regarded as the greatest writer in English language. And this play is by him and is one of the tragedies. So let us see then the text that we have for syllabus. This first verse that we have is taken from Act 1, Scene 5. The situation is this. Capulet organized a dance party where Romeo goes to see Rosaline, his love. He was in love with Rosaline actually. He disguised himself and went to the party to see Rosaline. There he saw Juliet. After seeing Juliet, he fell in love, and he felt a true love for her. What you really call it a love at first sight in your movies, you hear a kind of a thing. And Juliet too falls in love with him. What he really see in the party is Juliet's charm, brightness, loveliness, and beauty. He expresses those things in his own way. That we have it in the text here. I would like to read that text and analyze or explain it a little later. I hope you would like to follow this text with me. Oh, she does teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy doe trooping with the crows, as yonder lady over her fellows shores. The measure done, I will watch her place of stand, and touching hers, like blessed, sorry, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? For swear it, sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night. Oh, she does teach the torches to burn bright. Looking at Juliet, Romeo feels like that. Her brightness, compared to the brightness of the light or lamps which are lit there in the party, were nothing. She could cast more radiation than the light. She is brighter than the torch. Looking at her brightness, the torches could feel shy that they could not be brighter than Juliet. She is outstanding. She is beautiful. Such a charm that she has that radiates there, like a glow of a torch. More than that, it seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. How she stands out among the people who are there on the dance floor. There are so many people on the dance floor. Juliet is the one who stands out. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of the night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. An Ethiop's ear, an African girl, a bright, shining, glittering jewelry which stands out on the cheek of an African girl in the lightings. Juliet is stood out like that. How is she? Too beautiful. Too beautiful. So beautiful that she could not die. Too beauty, too rich for use. Her beauty is so rich that it is not for an ordinary life. For earth too dear, to have such a beautiful lady, this earth could be too dear. So shows a snowy doe trooping with the crows as under lady over her fellows shows. How was she then? She stood out. She stood out like a trooping crows. So shows a snowy doe trooping with the crows. Yonder, over her fellows shows. She is seen as a dove among the company of crows. What happens when there are so many crows and one dove is there? It stands out. It sticks to your eyes quickly. It's naturally bright, and you can really see it that it is different from the other birds immediately. It doesn't take much of time to really find out a dove in the company of a crow. So shows a snowy dove trooping, moving around with the crows as yonder lady over her fellows shows. With so many other dancers around her, Juliet stood out like that. The measure done. Now the dance is over. After the dance is over, I will watch her place of stand. I would see where she stands. Then, touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Romeo feels little inferior here that he calls his own hands rude to touch such a delicate beauty. That was Juliet. So make blessed his rude hand. After touching her hands, he should feel he was blessed to really touch her. He questions himself, did my heart love till now? Forswear it sight. He says he could swear that he had not seen such a true beauty till that time. It was that true, intense, implicit love that he really felt for the first time. If he had seen any such a beautiful lady before, that would be if he had seen any such beautiful lady before, that would be false. It would not be true. For I never saw true beauty till this night. He says he has not seen such a beautiful lady before that night, before seeing Juliet. Sorry, before that night, after seeing Juliet. So let me come back very quickly and summarize this. Romeo happened to see Juliet in a dance party organized by Capulet family. And he saw Juliet and fell in love with her instantly. This is not instant coffee kind of a thing, but this happened. Love happens, it happened. Oh, she does teach the torches to burn bright. She is there, brighter than the torches. She could radiate more brightness around, and she stood out like a jewelry in the ear of an African girl, and in her ear, Ethiopia's African girl. She is too beautiful, too rich. Her beauty is too rich, and she is too beautiful for this earth. She stands out like a dove in the company of crows while they were moving around. So after the dance is over, Juliet's dance is over. Romeo would like to see where she stands and to go and touch her hand. By touching her hands, he would make her hands blessed. He feels his hands are rude to touch her. So he feels that his hand will be blessed. He asked himself whether he had seen any true beauty till that night. Did my heart love till now? Was that love? For swear it sight, it should be. And he fell true love for her in his heart. Then he says, for I never saw, he had not seen any true beauty until that night he saw Juliet. This is a brief analysis of the poem. This verse is by Romeo, and we have another verse by Juliet that we are going to see in our next episode. Until then, read this and go through. If you have any questions, please write to me. Okay. Until now, bye bye.